Hi, my name is Jessica Savoy, and today I'm going to be presenting my literature review of interactive whiteboards. I hope you enjoy the presentation. The purpose of my literature review is to establish if interactive whiteboards are an effective form of interactive learning. The questions to be addressed are: do interactive whiteboards in the classroom promote student performance and learning? How do teachers view the use of interactive whiteboards in the classroom? And is insufficient training of teachers on how to use the technology a factor in how effectively the technology is used? I will look at a number of scholarly sources, studies, articles, and reviews. Based on these sources, it is concluded that interactive whiteboards, when implemented effectively, do support learning gains and are perceived positively by both students and teachers. However, inadequate training of teachers on how to use interactive whiteboards plays a major role in how confident teachers are using the technology and effectively incorporating it into their instruction. Interactive whiteboards have come a long way from the chalk and slate blackboards that once graced the walls of every classroom. As common today as blackboards were in the past, the interactive whiteboard has become an important part of the classroom learning environment. The technology offers a touchscreen type surface, combining the use of a projector with the functionality of a dry erase whiteboard. Essentially, the interactive whiteboard is a giant computer screen the whole classroom can see, and the digital whiteboard pen allows the users to mark directly on the screen. Typically, interactive whiteboards are perceived by students and teachers as a positive addition to the learning and the classroom experience. However, there are still questions remaining about the relationship between interactive whiteboards and an increase in students' learning and achievement. Additionally, there is a gap between the potential of interactive whiteboards to enhance learning and the training available for teachers to incorporate interactive whiteboards into instruction effectively. All of the sources in this paper come from the James Madison University Library Database. Keywords such as interactive whiteboard and modern classroom were used to locate these sources. Literature ranges from articles and studies written in 2005 until present. The information gleaned helps answer the questions about interactive whiteboard use in the classroom and how teacher training and perception is a major factor in how effectively interactive whiteboards are incorporated into instruction. A study conducted at Valdosta State University looked at two main groups: a control group that did not receive instruction with an interactive whiteboard, and a treatment group that was student-directed using interactive whiteboard technology. Both groups received instruction on the same content and were tested pre- and post-training. Significantly larger gains were seen in the treatment group than in the control group that had no interactive whiteboard teaching. In another study, the effect of interactive whiteboard instruction was used in 3 elementary schools. 5th grade student learners who received interactive whiteboard instruction showed higher test scores in both reading and mathematics than their counterparts who did not receive interactive whiteboard instruction. In a third study, non-native English speakers played games facilitated by the interactive whiteboards and were able to visually match written words with the word's corresponding picture. These learners performed better on tests and were able to recognize English words better than students who did not receive the same interactive instruction. All of these studies support the conclusion that there is a relationship between interactive whiteboard instruction and higher test scores for students. Instruction flexibility and versatility, overall efficiency, and the ability to seamlessly incorporate multimedia and interactive elements into instruction are a few of the themes identified in contributing to the effectiveness of interactive whiteboards as a form of educational technology. One teacher reported the benefits of interactive whiteboards as instant access to material from a variety of sources and the possibility of using pre-prepared lessons that move without apparent effort from visual to the verbal and back again. When implemented in the classroom effectively, interactive whiteboards offer the opportunity for the pupil to interact with the learning material in a different way than traditional teaching methods. Students are often motivated to learn because they find the instruction more enjoyable and fun. When students are more engaged with learning, they tend to have better attention, which leads to overall better attention and association with the material. The ability of interactive whiteboards to effortlessly incorporate multimedia components into instruction is one of the biggest advantages of the technology. For example, a teacher can combine sound with graphic and iconic visuals, which is reported to help the learner make significant connections and aid in better recall of the information. Furthermore, interactive whiteboards allow teachers to easily present material in a variety of ways, which is important when teaching to an audience with different learning styles. Across the literature, interactive whiteboards are perceived in a positive light. The studies and factors already mentioned are significant evidence interactive whiteboards are an effective tool for promoting learning, increasing recall, and overall better test scores. However, despite this evidence, there seems to be a number of factors which affect how completely a teacher is able to adopt the technology. Several contextual factors contribute to how interactive whiteboards are perceived by teachers. School culture plays a major role. Schools that see the importance of technology in education support teacher training, technology acquisition, and provide the appropriate technology support are important for creating a successful environment for interactive whiteboard instruction. Schools that see the value of a whole school approach to interactive whiteboard training for teachers versus an individual as needed approach are also more likely to have teachers that are engaged with the technology and develop fluency in using the technology. Technical support is another contextual factor that affects how interactive whiteboards are perceived and incorporated into the classroom. Interactive whiteboards are a machine, so some level of program maintenance should be expected, and the occasional unforeseen technical problem might be unavoidable. However, as long as there is a proper school culture for interactive whiteboards in place, technical support as a factor is not insurmountable. A few practicalities regarding the use of interactive whiteboards have also been identified. Sunlight and the physical height of the interactive whiteboard can greatly affect the user experience. If a user's view is impaired because of sun glare or blocked because of obstacles in the user's line of sight, these can be perceived as limitations of the technology, even though such factors are really more environmental. In a study by the University of South Florida, researchers have explored how teachers can use interactive whiteboards to enhance learning for individuals with disabilities. All the subjects in this study were first-time interactive whiteboard users. The teachers were given a limited amount of formal training on how to incorporate interactive whiteboards into their instruction. Throughout the course of the study, the researchers discovered that although teachers could identify the numerous potential learning benefits of using interactive whiteboards, there was a disconnect in teachers actually feeling empowered to incorporate the technology into their classroom. Whether it was lack of proper training, insufficient time to learn the technology and adequately incorporate it into the lesson, or limited access to professional development on interactive whiteboards, the teachers in this study universally perceived barriers to actually using interactive whiteboards in their instruction. In another study, the extent to which teachers incorporated interactive whiteboards into their teaching after completing a 30-hour interactive whiteboard professional program was studied. This study looked at 43 elementary school teachers from across different disciplines. The study found that teachers who received the training were more inclined to incorporate interactive whiteboard instruction successfully into their curriculum. These are just two examples, but across all literature sampled in this review, teacher training was the largest identified factor in why interactive whiteboards were not being used effectively. All the potential benefits of interactive whiteboards means nothing if teachers do not have proper training and the confidence to incorporate the boards into their rooms. In a quote, if a teacher is unaware of the features of interactive whiteboards and how they link to interactive pedagogy, oftentimes the interactive whiteboard becomes nothing more than a technological teaching aid. Interactive whiteboards have allowed the classroom teaching to become much more interactive. In the past, blackboards allowed teachers to write, but their back was to the classroom, and written learning might not relate to all types of learners. Interactive whiteboards give the teacher the opportunity to face the classroom and really present information in unique and new ways. In addition, teaching today must take into account all types of learners and relay information via multiple mediums. Interactive whiteboards can be an asset in incorporating materials for this purpose. Based on studies, there is evidence that instruction done with interactive whiteboards promotes performance and learning. However, despite many teachers' positive view of interactive whiteboards, many do not have the training and confidence to adequately incorporate them into their classrooms. The findings of this literature review are useful in opening up the conversation about more training for teachers. The benefits of interactive whiteboards are clear when implemented correctly, but the greatest factor preventing such implementation is teacher confidence and understanding of the technology. Proper training for teachers is necessary for narrowing this gap. This research is also relevant to schools that haven't outfitted their classrooms with interactive whiteboards, but might be looking to in the future. Interactive whiteboards are not cheap. However, cost aside, this research supports the idea that interactive whiteboards are an effective form of learning and can contribute to higher test scores. It is reasonable to assume that schools that invest in interactive whiteboard technology and proper training for the school's teachers will see positive outcomes in the learning experience. Most of the articles in this literature review are from 2010 to 2012. There wasn't more recent research available on this topic. Since these articles were written, it is possible that strides have been taken in education to provide teachers with better training on interactive whiteboards. Most of the studies also focused on English language learners and individuals with disability, and in these instances, definite gains were seen with students who were exposed to interactive whiteboard-centered learning. However, to make a generalized claim about all learners, more studies might need to be conducted on average learners in various subjects. In conclusion, based on this research, the idea that interactive whiteboards promote student performance and learning is supported. However, despite a positive view of interactive whiteboards, insufficient training for teachers is a significant factor in how interactive whiteboard technology is incorporated into the classroom. For future research, it would be relevant to know more about what types of training are currently available to teachers. Is it the technology itself that presents the biggest learning curve, i.e. figuring out how to add pictures to a presentation or create games, or is it knowing how to create an interactive learning environment that is the bigger issue? Identifying this will be important in establishing better and more effective training for teachers. Thank you for watching my literature review presentation on interactive whiteboards. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and found it informative.